Last Friday night, I was sitting on my couch watching the playoffs, and I caught myself squinting. Not because the game was bad, because my TV couldn't keep up. The fast plays looked blurry, bright scenes washed out, and when the camera panned across the crowd, everything turned into a gray mess. That's when I grabbed my phone and started checking prices. What I saw made me stop. 8 premium TVs, real flagship models, had dropped as much as $700 in just a few weeks. Not entry-level sets, not clearance junk. I'm talking about high-end OLED and mini-LED TVs people were paying full price for not long ago. So now the big question is, should you jump on these deals or wait? Before we break this down, hit that subscribe button. On Trusted Pick, I don't chase hype. I break down what actually matters so you don't waste your hard-earned money. And tell me this in the comments. Are you upgrading from an older 1080p TV, or do you already have 4K and just want something better? Let's get into it.
Why premium TVs just dropped $700. Every January, new models get announced. Retailers show off next-gen processors, slightly brighter panels, thinner bezels. That announcement triggers something behind the scenes. Warehouses full of last year's premium inventory. Retailers don't want those sitting around when new boxes start arriving, so prices fall fast. Right now, we're in that window. But here's the part nobody talks about. Manufacturing costs for components, especially memory and display materials, have been rising again. That means summer and fall shipments could land at higher base prices. So what you're seeing today isn't random. It's a clearance phase on top-tier TVs that were considered too expensive just months ago. Let me show you the ones that stood out.
Number 8. Hisense U8K. Premium performance without the price tag. Let's start with Hisense U8K. When it first launched, this was one of those TVs that made people pause and ask, wait, how is this so bright? Here's the thing about Hisense. For years, it was known as a brand that gave you solid budget options. Nothing flashy, nothing to brag about at parties. But the U8K, that changed everything. Suddenly, you had premium mini-LED technology, bright enough to handle sunny living rooms, excellent local dimming for deep blacks, and features that catered to gamers, all without hitting the $2,000 mark like Samsung or LG flagships. And now, the prices dropped from around $1,400 to $900. That's a $500 drop in just a couple of months. I know people like my friend Tom, 70 years old, retired, careful with money, who've been eyeing a better TV for months. He finally pulled the trigger on the U8K last weekend. His living room gets full afternoon sun, and most OLEDs would struggle. But with this Hisense, he can watch sports, news, or classic movies, and the picture is crystal clear. Here's the kicker. Reviews from professional testers show this TV performs almost as well as models twice the price. Tom told me, I didn't expect to get this kind of picture for under $1,000. That's why the U8K is a standout bargain. You're getting a high-end experience without paying a high-end price. But you have to act now, because once these warehouse stocks are gone, prices will climb back up.
Number 7. TCL QM8. Brightness that wows. Next up, the TCL QM8 Mini LED. Some people avoid OLEDs because of burn-in concerns or just want maximum brightness. That's where the QM8 shines. Literally, this TV can handle any sunny room, any midday sports game without washing out or losing contrast. And now it's sitting at $1,200, down from $1,700. That's a $500 drop. I visited my cousin's place, who recently upgraded from a 1080p TV. She's a casual viewer, loves sports and Netflix binges, and had been hesitant about spending over $1,500 on a new TV. When she saw the QM8, she laughed and said, I can finally watch the game without closing every single blind in my house. What makes this TV even better is TCL's processing. It's smooth, responsive, and handles motion extremely well, perfect for live sports, fast-paced action movies, or even gaming. So if you have a bright room or you simply love picture that pops, this is a prime candidate. And that $500 markdown makes it irresistible. 6. Sony X93L Mini LED Luxury at a steal. Sony rarely discounts aggressively, which is why the X93L Mini LED caught my eye. Its premium build, excellent motion handling, and natural picture tones, exactly what Sony fans love. And for the first time, you can get it hundreds below its launch price. I called my neighbor, Rick, who's a retired electronics distributor, and asked him about this one. He laughed, "Sony only drops prices like this when they absolutely have to move stock. When you see this kind of cut, it's your chance." What's special about the X93L is that it keeps color accuracy and contrast without needing crazy HDR tweaks. If you're someone who watches movies with subtle lighting, think a thriller or period drama, the shadows look natural, the colors balanced, and the overall experience is immersive. At these prices, you're basically getting premium home theater performance without paying a fortune. But like all these deals, timing is critical. Wait too long, and these warehouse units will vanish. 5. LG C3 OLED, the gamer's dream. Now let's talk about the LG C3 OLED, a true fan favorite that everyone seems to be raving about. Gamers, movie buffs, and tech enthusiasts love this TV. Why? Because it's incredibly versatile and adapts to almost any type of content you throw at it. It handles Dolby Vision, HDR, and 120Hz gaming seamlessly. Input lag is minimal, motion is crisp, and the picture pops with rich, deep blacks that make every scene feel immersive and lifelike. The C3's price used to hover around $2,200 for a 65-inch model. Now, $1,800. That's a $400 drop on a true flagship, making it more accessible than ever without compromising performance. I remember my nephew, an avid gamer, telling me, "I almost waited for summer, but when I saw the price drop, I knew it was now or never." He plugged in his PlayStation, started a high-speed racing game, and said, "Uncle, this feels like a completely different TV. Smooth, responsive, amazing colors, and it makes the game feel alive like never before." That's the kind of reaction you want from a TV you plan to enjoy and keep for years to come. Number 4. Samsung S90C, the sweet spot. Next, let's focus on the Samsung S90C QD OLED. If the LG C3 is loved by gamers, the S90C is loved by everyone else. Movie watchers, sports fans, tech enthusiasts, and even casual viewers looking for a premium experience. It delivers perfect blacks, brighter peak brightness than traditional OLEDs, in richer color volume that holds up even in bright daylight or well-lit rooms without washing out. Before this drop, a 65-inch S90C was around $2,000. Now it's $1,500. That's a $500 markdown, a huge discount on a TV that was already considered high-end and desirable. I called a friend who just upgraded his home theater and asked him why he chose Samsung over LG. He said, "It's simple. Samsung's processing makes HDR movies pop without looking artificial. And for the price, I get almost the same performance as models that cost $2,500 without having to compromise anything." If you want high-end OLED performance, stunning brightness, and cinematic quality color without paying ultra-premium, the S90C is the perfect sweet spot for both casual and serious viewers alike. Number 3. Sony A95L, luxury without compromise. The Sony A95L QD OLED isn't just a television. It's the kind of set that makes you pause, lean back, and actually gasp the first time you power it on. There's something almost magical about the way it renders color, especially skin tones. They look real, alive, nuanced. No artificial glow, no oversaturated reds or oranges that scream TV mode. Dark scenes aren't just black, they're deep, velvety, and immersive, but you can still make out every subtle detail hidden in the shadows. It's the difference between watching a movie and stepping into it. Motion handling is smooth, fluid, and effortless. Action sequences, sports, even quick camera pans all feel natural. And the build quality? Absolutely top-notch. The moment you touch the panel, the frame, the stand, you realize this is a premium product designed to last for years. Every panel, every bezel, every port feels solid and considered. Sony has built a reputation over decades for creating TVs that last, perform, and impress, but they rarely discount aggressively. That's what makes this moment special. The A95L has seen reductions of $500 to $700, which is almost unheard of for a luxury QD OLED model. Normally, you're looking at top-tier prices, full stop. But right now, warehouse inventory, new models arriving, and subtle market shifts have created a window where a true high-end flagship is suddenly more accessible than ever. Now, imagine this. You walk into your living room, settle into your couch, and fire up your favorite Netflix show. The colors aren't just pretty, they match the director's vision perfectly. You notice every subtle reflection, every shadow nuance, every expression on the actor's face. It's cinematic storytelling delivered in your home. That's the kind of experience the A95L offers every single time. I remember my friend Margaret. She's 72, lives in Phoenix, and has been a fan of classic movies her entire life. She was hesitant to spend thousands on a new TV, worried about whether it would be worth it. But when she finally unboxed the A95L last month and turned it on, she literally gasped, leaning forward with her hands gripping the armrest. "I didn't know TV could look like this," she whispered. "Every detail, every color. It's like the actors are standing in my living room, right in front of me. I can see their eyes, the texture of their clothing, the subtlety of the lighting. It's breathtaking." That's the power of Sony's QD OLED technology. It doesn't just display images, it evokes emotion. It reminds you why movies and shows captivate us in the first place. Moments like that, absolutely priceless. They justify every dollar spent, every minute of research, and every cautious debate over whether to pull the trigger on a high-end model. And here's the real kicker. This drop won't last. Sony's discounts are rarely permanent. Once warehouse stock clears, prices go back to premium levels. For anyone who has been on the fence about upgrading, the A95L is the TV that makes the decision feel urgent, rewarding, and entirely worth it.
Number 2. LG G3 OLED, the Gallery Star. If the Sony A95L is about ultimate performance, the LG G3 OLED is about style, elegance, and commanding presence in your living space. While the A95L impresses through sheer technical excellence, the G3 adds another layer, aesthetics that elevate your home decor. Ultra-thin, almost impossibly sleek, and builds with a gallery-style wall mount in mind, the G3 feels less like a TV and more like a piece of art. Its brightness is significantly higher than previous LG OLEDs, which makes it ideal for rooms with large windows or bright afternoon sunlight. Yet, despite this sleek design, the TV still delivers top-tier picture quality with the rich blacks, stunning color, and smooth motion that LG OLEDs are known for. Now let's talk pricing. Previously, a 65-inch G3 hovered around $3,000. Today, after recent markdowns, you can get it for roughly $2,300, a nearly $700 drop. That's remarkable for a premium gallery-style display. Normally, TVs with this kind of design and performance command full flagship pricing, making them out of reach for many buyers. But this price drop suddenly makes it attainable without sacrificing quality or aesthetics. It's the rare moment when luxury, performance, and value align. I personally went to my cousin's house in Phoenix to help her set it up. She'd been hesitant for months because she didn't want to overpay. But when we unboxed it, the first thing she noticed was the slim profile. It practically disappears against her wall, leaving the room feeling open and sophisticated. Then we loaded a 4K nature documentary, and she gasped. Not the polite, muted gasp, a full, "Wow, I didn't expect this" gasp. She said, "Even with sunlight streaming in, the colors feel alive. The green of the leaves, the blue of the ocean. It's like the screen is breathing. Sharp, vibrant, perfect. That's the exact kind of emotional payoff these price drops create. It's not just about specs or technology, it's about the moment you sit back and feel wowed, knowing that what you're seeing in your living room rivals a high-end theater experience. What makes the LG G3 truly special is how it balances performance and beauty. You don't need a completely dark room to appreciate its brightness. You don't need to compromise on design to enjoy flagship-level OLED picture quality. And when you consider that this level of premium design used to cost thousands more, this markdown makes it a compelling choice for anyone who values both technology and style.
Number 1. Samsung S95C, the flagship everyone wants. Finally, we arrive at the crown jewel, the Samsung S95C QD OLED. This TV isn't just a piece of technology, it's a statement, a display that makes friends and family stop mid-conversation when they see it in action. When it launched, a 65-inch model was almost untouchable in price, roughly $3,000. Today, due to current markdowns, you can get it for around $2,300, a whopping $700 off. This is the kind of rare opportunity where true flagship technology is suddenly attainable, giving you cinematic color, perfect blacks, ultra-responsive panel performance, and HDR quality that rivals professional theaters. Let me paint a picture for you. I visited my nephew's apartment recently. He's not a hardcore tech enthusiast, he's a casual movie watcher who simply enjoys immersive visuals. We set up the S95C, queued up a high-action thriller, and started watching. Midway through the first scene, he whispered in disbelief, "I didn't know a TV could do this. It's like having a theater in my living room. The colors, motion, depth, everything feels completely real." And that's the truth. The S95C doesn't just show movies, it transports you. The blacks are deep, the highlights are brilliant, the motion handling is flawless, and the colors feel alive, yet natural. Why does timing matter so much with this TV? Because warehouse clearances, component cost increases, and incoming new models mean this is a fleeting window. Prices like this won't last. Once these discounted units are gone, Samsung's pricing will shift back to its premium range. And considering that QD OLEDs are still relatively rare, missing this window could mean waiting months or longer to find a similar deal. The S95C is a perfect example of a TV that blends performance, aesthetic elegance, and emotional impact. When you sit down in front of it, it doesn't feel like technology. It feels like a cinematic experience built specifically for your living room. And at $700 off, that experience is suddenly more accessible than it has ever been. For anyone who has been hesitant, this is the moment to act. It's not just about price, it's about unlocking the joy of movies, sports, and gaming in a way that leaves a lasting impression every single time you turn it on.
So, should you wait? Here's the honest answer. If you're waiting for these specific models to drop another $700, that's unlikely. Once inventory clears, retailers shift attention to newer models at higher prices. Yes, there will be summer sales, but those are usually smaller adjustments, not massive clearance cuts on last year's flagships. Now let me ask you something real. Are you unhappy every time you turn on your current TV? Do you adjust brightness constantly, close blinds during the day, complain about dark scenes? Because if you're already frustrated, waiting might cost you months of better viewing just to save maybe another $100. On the other hand, if your current TV still looks good to you and upgrading is just a nice to have, then patience never hurts. Technology always evolves, but major $700 drops on premium models, that's a specific timing window, and we're inside it right now. At the end of the day, this isn't about chasing sales, it's about value. Getting premium performance without paying launch day pricing. If one of these TVs was already on your radar, this is the moment to take it seriously. Drop a comment and tell me which model you're considering. And if you're stuck between two, I'll help you break it down. Subscribe to Trusted Pick for more no-nonsense breakdowns, because spending smart feels better than spending more.